and the efforts are rest. The brothers giving up the end, the premise of death. The welcome and life without again.
I live for
Master.
Play Paris, who make you I can't Sktv venue. Say my journey, Tina can I say my yamu. And yes, I know money, and more I go. And you love
Sktv, the best in Liberia. Sktv, the best in Africa. Sktv, the best in Mama Liberia. Must hold by the lofa and grandbaza.
And I didn't ya to money, and I said ya to money, and I couldn't clear ya to money, and I could do ya to money, and I didn't ya to money, and I said ya to money, and I couldn't clear ya to money, and I could do ya to money, and I forget now ya to money. That's the TV, and I forget it now. Cause you walk on my ya to money. Yeah.
Sktv, the best in Liberia. Sktv, the best in Africa. Sktv, the best in Mama Liberia. Must hold by the lofa and grandbaza.
There are things we can do. We bring in good news and we give it to you. We talking about podcasts and connecting people and culture from here and out part of the globe. Qualified people who waiting to serve. The flesh, the time, and the efforts are rest. The broadcast we giving are real and the premise my best. The work with my life without fear. From Grandfather Nima to Lufa, from River Sass, River G to Chile, from Vancouver, Bombay, Cape Mount, Montserrat, San to Backwater, from Maryland, Bronx to the Mikey B. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB.
Sktv, the best in Liberia. Sktv, the best in Africa.
Indeed, Sktv, we are the best in Liberia. Sktv, we are the best around the world. And Sktv, we are the best right in Africa. Folks, what a way to go. Let me see this camera. I think it needs some setting. Wow, that's good. Good to go. Good evening, people. Good evening. What's the time from your end? My end here is 3 minutes past 6 o'clock. That's the time check for what I said broadcast right here in the main studio of Truth FM, the radio service of the Renaissance Communications Incorporated, owned and operated by our own dynamic CEO, Honorable Laike Berete. So again, good evening. Welcome to the Sktv Tuesday, the 23rd day edition of the Sktv show. You know, Aisha. For us here, there are new words that people use. People who don't use the word like they can't carry what into party or one. For us here, we don't. For us, you already know what's up, right? You already know us here. You know, are you sure? We don't sugarcoat anything because the livelihood of our people that what matter to us. For us here, we don't want contact. We don't believe in individual contact, to be having contact with politicians, to be having contact with power that be, to be thinking that in fact, as soon as they give you car, as soon as they buy you, or maybe they give you money, you pay horse, that means that your problem solved. No. For all who believe that, even if not 100%, at least, let it be at least 90% or 95% at least of our people. You know, those of you who are religious people, especially from the Christian background, you will know the reason why John the Baptist. You know, sometimes there are some research you have to do in their life. Sometimes you hear about people. Why John the Baptist was beheaded? Then you will understand the issue of advocacy or how to talk for people. So if you are a religious person, you are pastor, you are deacon, you are a person, you are also advocating for people. And if you're not careful in your advocacy, sometimes your lives, sometimes you may not even understand anything. That's why when you're a religious person, when you're a pastor, all of these council of churches and this and that, I expect most of you to always have a special team. If you have been sharing the show, I will do the talking. So I expect the Liberia Council of Churches today, even if now, or in fact, let me just say the Religious Council of Liberia, I expect to have another team within that body that will always investigate and find out about the living condition of the people, how these people have been treated, how your people have been treated, especially when it comes to some of the companies, some of the businesses, their life, and they and politicians. What happening? These are things that I expect you to also have within that organization. You have that committee, or you have that thing that always, every year, let them be able, maybe you can even do a quarterly there after every 3 months. Or maybe, after every 3 months, the team go and check what happened and report to the religious people. The religious people now will be able to tell the president that, Mr. President, after our investigation and this and that, indeed, where we found out that for example, B Mountain Company, they're not treating our people right. Look, sometimes you got to transform the gospel into another, because the way you're doing the gospel, I wanted to go heaven. No, heaven is also on this earth. But we put this suffering on the earth like they had a way for heaven. Anyway, that's just show people. Yeah, man. Their life is indeed interesting. Heaven is right here on this earth. People have to enjoy life. People have to live. That's the reason why God allowed a person to come on this earth. But you want them to suffer. You want them to die in poverty. You want their life to look terrible until when they go there and say, God bless you, you go there. No. So the Council of Churches or the Religious People Association, or you may call your, please. Maybe that would be one of my recommendations to you people. You'll be able to have a body that will look after the welfare of your people. Let's share the show. Let's share the show. Steve was the chairman, the social chairman John today. Maybe if possible, but Steve will be here with us. Mom will be here very soon. And let me see how best to send a link around. Send a link to Brother Aliu and all the rest of the team. We even again people, but these are facts. That be frank. You know, only about going to church, or going to the mosque, no. But the livelihood of the people. Certain group of people just walk up and put your people into poverty. Then you think that is normal. Let them pray. It's spiritual. No, it's not spiritual. No, why John was not praying? John the Baptist used to wake up every morning and go to the king and go to the palace, and they step. Some of you all know these stories. Even the great Jesus Christ, he used to go to the people and tell them what they're doing is wrong. What they were not telling people, say you're pro. Yeah, man, that's interesting. That's why we are just roaming around in this poverty that we can graduate from. And today, Donald Trump, don't talk. Idiot, Donald Trump, just talk. That's just the show. Interesting. We'll play out of the video today, people. But again, today is Tuesday. I'm sending the link around. Please share the show. Those of you who just joined, indeed, share the show. Myself, I'm trying to do that. But again, good evening and welcome to the 23rd day of the month of September edition. Good evening, welcome to all of you. Please let's share the show. Give us a like, comment, and share. That will be good for us, at least so that we'll be able to, so that the show will reach to other people. Because Donald Trump even joke. And the UNGA today, Donald Trump joke. You don't want to develop yourself. You depend on every time that what kind of A? And when the A comes, very interesting. Let me share the link. I'm sharing the show also. Please help us. Let's do. Mr. Connor will join us here this evening. Mr. Connor will go. Actually, I want to very serious that that's a fact. I think this thing should go back to our religious people. It's a failure. Let me be frank, and that's the fact. What are you like your nice failure? That you people be saying that then you're seeing your people living in poverty. Then what you do? Why you play? Wait, they both go to heaven. Let me see. Yeah, I will add more. Thank God, Monk is here. The presenter is here. I will add the presenter. The Monk is here. Monk, good evening.
What's up, Mabel?
Yeah, I'm doing great, my dear brother. Thank God for life. Life is good. And how you end?
Not much. Take it one day at a time, every day.
Wonderful.
Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Don't overthink. Don't over worry. Don't over stress. Take it as it comes. Be willing to adjust, and that's it. And be working towards your goal, because at the end of the day, the consistency, the level of consistency you put behind the work, that's what's going to give you the result. It doesn't come overnight. Like they say, you don't develop muscle by going to the gym, by spending 9 hours in the gym one day. But if you go to the gym continuously and just spend 20 minutes, within a few months, you will see the muscle growing, right?
Exactly. And that's the same thing that I was just saying, or more, but I don't know whether you want to chip in on that. That our religious people, can they have maybe independent body within that same organization? Like, okay, so we have the religious council of Liberia. Can we have also they themselves, they can organize a team that will go out there every time to try to investigate and know exactly what's happening between the people and the government, instead of things just becoming like every time the people should come out to protest. Because I was giving one example about John the Baptist. Monk,
Yep.
the story of John the Baptist, you were not only preaching the word of God, you were also telling the king and the people that what you people are doing was wrong.
Oh, yeah. That's why the religious leaders are there for. They are the moral compass of society, no matter your religion. I know you can have, replace government with religion, but God himself ordained government, right? And government got rules. And the prophet, that's why God used to send the prophet back in the days to carry the message. They are the one that into spirituality, that prays, and they're able to, some of them got a gift of discernment. They can see things before it happens. So when the government is getting off track, that's what we call an institution. The institution in the country is not only about the government. You got faith-based institution, you got charity-based institution, you got people who help, where I think they said they got a name for it. It gets slip out of my mind. Or civil society. Whether you are teachers, you are nurses, people organize, and they help to propel society in the right direction. But if you get religious leaders that are compromised, then they cannot be the moralists in society to keep the government in check. So if everything is broken, then the government will just end up running things the way how they chooses to run things, most especially the people themselves. Everything can be a protest. I told you there's a good and bad side to protest, right? When the country is noted for having protests, continuous protests, it stops investment from coming to that country. Because whenever there is a protest, it means you got instability from the social economic standpoint, from the business standpoint, and nobody want to invest money in a troubled environment. Because when you got political and social instability, then more than likely you could go to uprising. And uprising means properties and life will be damaged. So if you're an investor, that one of the things they take into consideration, how stable the country is, how stable the economy is, why is the political climate look like in your country. That's why you see countries that have been stable over the past 25, 30 years, the economy is growing better because they have proven to be having a level of stability, and that's going to attract investment as well. So in as much as we love to call for protest, when you overdo it, it becomes a burden, also it becomes a negative. But anyway, guys, share the show. We almost to our number. We're doing great so far. How many? 14 minutes past the hour. Maybe.
Yes, myself, I'm also sharing, and thank you, Monk. Actually, you just knew it, but I think that how things supposed to be like, because they just stated, is that every time people will come out to protest, every time you see your citizens, so that some issue can be handled, for example, in some of the counties, because when you have the religious people who are there, because this thing also affects their members. One more, I don't get it. It's not everything about spiritual, because this thing also affects their members.
And brother, we got a spiritual component to our existence, but we live in a physical world. Everything that we pray for physically, it already exists on this planet. We just don't know how to get most of the things that we pray for. You know that? Maybe look around. Most of your prayer, if you were to recall your prayer, right? At the end of the day, and you go back to visit that prayer, most of the things that you pray for, they already exist. You want money, yeah. You just don't know how to get more money. You want for God to work with your health, right? Or on your health, right? But there are medical doctors, there are technology, the system is there. Everything that we need to make sure that our physical being is being attended to or being well managed, right? They already exist. So it means we should only be praying to God for things that are beyond our control. We can pray to God.
Yeah, Mark, you are distant.
What do you?
Yeah, actually, more you are distance because you know that just is your near it. But brother Ali, we're just chipping in with the issue of maybe at least maybe our religious people that they can think outside the box and say no. Sometimes I think our people, I think we too we gotta go to them and find out as to what happening between they and the government and that of the maybe the company or the business and so forth. Like hear their side and be able to report to the or maybe to ask the government as to what's going on, or maybe the team will report to the head and they'll be able to go to the government because we have religious council or team members who are also part of the government. But mom, we are not seeing sorry, but are you we are not seeing anything of such. Everything either the citizens themselves stand up. And if not, almost 100% of the citizens, they are all one way or the other associating with the two major religions, either Christians or Muslims. But this is not happening. That's a for discussion. What say you?
Yeah, good afternoon, Mo. Good afternoon, Mayborn, our listening audience and followers. Yeah, that's a good question. But we see what happening in Liberia right now. Our religious people are turned to politicians. That's one of the frustrating things in the country right now. All our religious people, they are all after government job. So these are things that they're supposed to do, but how will they do it? Everybody looking for government job. Everybody want to be in government. Today, before we had religious people, during the days of Sheikh Kafuma Kone and Bishop Michael Francis the late, these were the people that we had in the country. They can look in your face, they tell you what they have to tell you. They don't care because they get nothing to do with politics. They don't care about government job. And they were satisfied with their position and what they were getting. But today, when we talk about the Muslim Council, we talk about the Christian, all of these people, they have now turned to politicians. So you won't see them doing this thing. When government come to power, our religious people looking for government job. If you give it to them, they will be critical on your government. The moment you give them government job, they remain quiet. So that's the frustrating part of it. Our religious leaders have turned to politicians. It's like they are not getting nothing in the religious council, so they want to turn to politician now. They want to be into government job. And when you get job from the government, you are already integrated because you cannot say anything. You can be and you be vocal. For example, our chief imam Ali Ayin, where is he today? He used to have press conferences 3-4 times a week, but today when like you heard Ali Kai speaking, when they when he talked today, after 3 months before he talked, because he in the government. So when you in that kind of position, what will you say? What will you do? So that's the only thing, my brother. That's all.
Brother Ali. So we gotta move on to our topic now. People, good evening to those of you who just joined it. Please, if you just joining us, we want you to give us a like, comment, and share. That would be good for us this evening, so that other people too who are also part of your group, they can also watch us or follow us. Maybe they want to, but unfortunately they didn't, or maybe they are not able to have maybe access to the network. And again, it's Sktv-Lib. Those of you that are also listening to us via the radio, you can also search for Sktv-Lib on Facebook, and most definitely you will be part. Yeah, so Mark, today we have so many things to talk about, ranging from the UNGA. Today, mind you, I think I don't know what our president now talk, or maybe few hours, maybe minute from now on. But maybe if so, those of you can still correct us and send us the video if you finish speaking, or you still maybe you still have some time to speak. But Mark, the UNGA, there's so many things to talk about. The president of U.S. today, Donald Trump, was really in a harsh mood, and he talked about a lot of things. But before we move to that, well, there are so many trending news maybe that on your mind they want to talk about quickly. I don't know whether you observe another thing apart from the UNGA news, or maybe that we'll be talking about any other thing, Mark.
Oh, not really. I follow the speech. I think something. I think the president addressed some women forum or whatsoever at the UN General Assembly, and I think I got a transcript here. I don't know. He was giving some numbers, some figure. Yeah, gender equality. You know that one thing they're pushing for in the war at the UN. Gender equality. It's just offensive. We're trying to say they want women and to be the new men, but they will not say that. Well, you know, at the United Nations they got an agenda. Everybody got their way of understanding things. And when it comes to these global issue, when it comes to global warming and women equality, these are the things that they champion. They're not looking at economic and any wars. They are looking at things. The concept that's why some of us believe that the main intent, every major organization that exists in the world today was created with an intent. And people don't understand the intent. That will get lost. Whether it's the World Health Organization, whether it's the United Nations, whether it's the League of Nations, because there was a League of Nations before the United Nations came, whether it's UNESCO when it comes to children, whether it's about the World Bank, the IMF, they were created for a reason. The problem is they are now working based on the reason or the essence for which they were created. They are deviating to other agenda that was totally off the radar. That's where the problem is. Some people got a nationalistic mindset. That is, I should focus on my country and its people. Some people got a globalist mindset that we are all the same. Even though we got borders, we got laws, we got different constitutions, we got different leaders, we got different challenges, but they believe we can all come from the same cloth, and that's where the problem is. So I listened to the president on his gender equality. Can you imagine? The declaration for the gender equality was signed in China, right? Let me give you this short history. China is a country that doesn't respect women. They don't even put women on a major television network, and they are the ones telling you how to give women gender equality. Isn't that a recipe for chaos? And that's why we keep telling people, you go to the conferences, you don't do your homework. How can a country like China lecture you about gender equality when in fact they can impose even on reproductive right? Now women are restricted to the child you can born in China. They can sterilize them. And this is why they won't telling you about gender equality. But yes, you will go to these conferences, you clap hands, you sign documents that you don't barely read. How many people have read Agenda 21 for the United Nations when it comes to sustainability and how they call it, or greenhouse gas emission, all this stuff? No, you just go there. You don't focus on your country because you want this international validation, even though the reality on ground is different. I sent you something earlier today, right? That the three Sahel nations, they say they are breaking ties with the International Criminal Code, because the intent of the International Criminal Code was to prosecute people for genocide and war crime. But of the 33 complaints that have been filed, only one person in Africa was indicted, and that's charged. All the other ones were ignored. So these organizations were not created for you. The sooner our leaders can understand it and focus domestically, the better it will be for them. That's why I keep telling you guys on the show, when you can do your research and you can really observe, the countries that focus on their domestic challenges, they are always the ones that do better. Just recently, let me give you another case study. Ethiopia is carrying on one of the biggest infrastructure projects on the whole continent of Africa, right? They are building a dam that will cost them $5 billion. You know what the Ethiopian did? If I walk to the World Bank to go and take another loan or the IMF, they said, no, we will finance this project domestically. We will make a tactical adjustment. We will do some cut. We will do some necessary spending to finance the building, because they know in order for you to grow your economy, the lifeblood of any economy is energy. If we cannot build a dam and electrify this country, we will not grow our economy and create opportunity. So Ethiopia is building a dam of $5 billion US. We are taking a loan from any World Bank of IMF, because they know the only reason the World Bank and the IMF exist is to make country poorer, so you stay in debt and you remain in perpetual poverty. That's some of the example that we're talking about. I'll turn it over to you guys. You can take it from there.
Yeah, thank you, Mom. There'll be series of questions that will be placed to you concerning Donald Trump and all the world leaders, especially coming from Africa, our own leaders or leader from right here in Liberia. But Ali, what say you? With all of the happening, the month just stated more already start, no time to waste. What say you with the entire UNGA and also yesterday, our president yesterday was talking about the issue of women, and then month just stated the issue of women rights. Also, the president said something that, in fact, there are some law or there are some traditions. I think he said the traditional practice here in Liberia will be banned. According to Mom, am I correct, right?
Yeah, that one of the quote he made in that speech. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. So, Baladi, what say you?
Yes, yesterday we listened to President Bakai engage his speech at the United Nations General Assembly, and they see him talking about women participation, to do this, to do that, talking about investing in the next 5 years, I think 8.3 billion for women empowerment and what have you.
No, Ellie, Aliu, let me hold you right there. I don't want to interfere. Let me just give you a highlight right then. You can pick up the conversation from there. Let me just where they say the key commitment or outline include zero tolerance for gender-based violence with national awareness campaign, public education, and dedicated budgetary allocation. There's a man I can't even address the drugs problem in the country. They tell you now. Okay. The second plan, a permanent ban on all harmful cultural practices, transforming a 3-year moratorium into enforceable national law. Can you imagine that? Or backed by alternative livelihood program and national dialogue. Number 3, a national action plan for young women, girls, designed to ensure empowerment, protection, and greater participation in national life. Highlight like Bureaucracy, the United Nations since from 2025 to 2027, the president pledged to champion women, youth, peace, and security agenda, ensuring women and young people play a defining role in shaping the peace and stability. So they are talking about 8 billion for the whole arrest agenda, and now we're talking about drugs. Drugs that is both a long-term and a short-term threat to the entire country existing. Now they are telling you that women empowerment is a new agenda. But anyway, Ali, I just wanted to highlight that point, and you can take out the conversation from there.
Yeah. So that's what the president said yesterday. And if he's talking about even the drugs that in the country, he said it's a national emergency. And today, 2 years now of his administration, no policy have been put in place, and we continue to see drugs overtaking the country. And where are you going to take 8.3 billion from when until your country, your budget has even reached 1 billion? So I see that as a deception, and that's a lie that he was lying yesterday. These are some of the things. These people, they have to stop making the president to look ugly, disgracing him nationally and internationally. People come to United Nations General Assembly. President Bwakai, you've been in government for a very long period of time. You're supposed to know the meaning people can stand over there to speak for. But you people will go pull about 4 to 5 sheets of papers, writing all kind of things and give it to this old man to come and stand to just be reading and get his head bowed down. He just reading. He don't even say no, he keep going. At the end of the day, yesterday, he exceeded the time and see how his mic was muted. That's not good. You have to stop that. You can't be disgracing the leader every now and then when he goes out. And this issue about President Baka talking about female genital mutilation, you can come here to United Nations General Assembly, you say one thing, and when you go back home, you are doing another thing. You're talking about it's going to be put to full stop, and people are still carrying it on in the country. So what becomes of those people that are doing it, and you cannot stop it, and you come to United Nations, you say it's going to be put to a halt, you're going to put stop to it. And when you go back, the same thing continues. So these things, they are not good. We don't know where our government is going to get 8.3 billion from in the next 5 years. We don't know. Let him try to work on the drugs. But again, the long speeches giving it to the president is not good. Putting part of it, coming to and be talking over and over, that's not good. They had to stop it.
Good. Thank you, Brother Aliu. Even though there are key commitments outlined by our president on yesterday, and we already started with some of the commitment or some of the stuff that the president talked about that will be done, or maybe that some of them, because I'm seeing some here that the president or his government has already empowered him. Is that 260,000? Yeah, Mom, I think it's 260,000, right? Citizens across 6 counties. But Mom, let's do it step by step. Since it's involving our mothers and our sisters. So let's go back to zero tolerance for gender-based violence with nationwide awareness campaigns, public education, and dedicated budgetary allocations. But Mom, let's go back to that. There's pending issues pertaining to rape. The president talked about zero tolerance for gender-based violence. Mom, what say you?
Well, when you don't have a plan, when you don't know where you are going, every road is going to take you there. That's just where it is. We got a lot of challenges in Liberia, but the reason is when the president comes to power, when he has a clear agenda, you focus on the most pressing issue. You cannot address all Liberia's problems. I understand that these things, they are also challenges, but the question is, are they the major challenge facing the country? We're talking about the economy, we're talking about youth employment, we're talking about expand the economy so that you can uplift or make people's life better economically. We are talking about budgetary allocation. We are talking about drugs infestation in the country that is threatening the country's future or the country's very existence. And we're talking about young people here. How can female genital mutilation be an issue here? I think the 8.83 billion also, they are looking at the national budget projected over 5 years because it's an estimate. You know, they always go for half figure. Then when it comes to generate the money, they will talk about budget so far. I don't think they're talking about billions for just female mutilation. They're talking about other things, but I guess they are looking at the budget over the period of 5 years. Maybe they think they can get it up to 8.3, 8.8 billion.
And more we'll get to that, but my question specifically has to do with the issue of zero tolerance. So with the issue of rape, with involving one of the president's official. That one I want you to really go back to that.
Yeah, we're talking about rape now. Yeah, we can say that
a serious contradiction. That one I want you
to. It's one thing to come and give a speech to the United Nations. It's another thing to go and put laws on the book and then implement. We are not short on laws. We are just short on implementing things that should be done in Liberia. So, like I said, these people come here. They come for the photo ops, right? They come for the spotlight. They are not focused on the issue happening at home. They want to come and read speeches just to get the applause of the Westerners, right? Because it's a conference. It's almost like a performance act. You know, it's a one thing to pretend. It's another thing to be serious about the agenda. That's why you can tell presidents that are serious, because you can see what's happening in their country. You can detect why it's going on domestically. For our comedians that come from that country, no, they come for photo of, they take picture, they sleep in or expensive hotel. We know that when they go back home, it's a whole different ball game. I understand there is how they can call it a gender-based violence, but do you know that poverty and hunger can also increase violence in the country? You know that, right? That people can come from work and they take their frustration on their children. When the economy is tougher, when people cannot get jobs, when their language is in poverty, they can do anything, whether it's prostitution, whether it's drugs, whether it's gender-based violence, all these things. We generate that money for a little girl who who father beat her mercilessly and used past scraper to scrape her skin because she took his pocket to buy lunch. We know these things come from economic anxiety. So there are so many ways that you can skin a cow. I don't know if this issue, they are the most pressing issue facing Liberia, but I know Joseph Boaga will only give me a piece of, Joseph Boaga, when you look at his presidency, to me, he just exists in name only. When it comes to the day-to-day operation, you can ask whether he's the one actually running the show. Or
I know, Mark, I will be asking you about Donald Trump's own way of responding to almost all of them, because I know the way Donald Trump was sounding today, it's like he was sounding too harsh to them. But again, Mark, let's go back. Sorry, but Aliu, I don't know whether you read it. If you read it, you want to chip in on the president's zero tolerance for gender-based violence, but his own official who have been accused of rape still
languishing in the public square, right?
and this thing about this rape allegation is not good, because you can get a deputy minister who are alleged or accused of raping somebody or minor 14 years old, and you still get him outside. That alone I see as a risk to that legal life, because you can get him as a deputy minister who he had been accused by this little girl or allegation on him for rape, and you get him outside, that girl outside. Why, if that man later on he say, okay, I know I will go to jail and I can pay somebody to do anything to this little girl? I think that idea where the moment there's a rape allegation on someone, they put them behind bars while investigation is ongoing, I think that's very good. But today, if we can see Gregor Como telling us that they had to do forensic, they had to do DNA, they had to get the American embassy involved into this case, all of these things, why other people were not giving those treatments? The moment they say there's a rape allegation, you had them arrested and put them behind bars. But you talk about zero tolerance today, you get your deputy minister out there passing around. After this issue happened on the church, I think after 14 days before you were able to even suspend him. So you talking about zero tolerance on gender, on whatsoever, that's not going to hold. So he will just come there and say different things when he go Liberia, and a different thing he will be doing there. So that's just it there.
Wonderful, thank you. Quickly before we move to the next point, because there are so many of these, but among this one is serious. The issue of I guess I've been talking about that also in your discussion, that about the FGM. That's one thing that quite recently in the same year, even in the president county, I think 2 months ago, yes, I think close to almost 500 of our young women, our mothers, our sisters were seeing the future with the issue of FGM. And that news broke out, people widely condemned, and people have their say and so forth. But at the end of the day, the government remain silent. But the president go to UNGA and say, we will fight it. Mom, what? Well, for me,
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the FGM issue that the president talked about in point 2. He said a permanent ban on harmful cultural practice, transforming a 3-year moratorium into enforceable national law backed by alternative livelihood programs and national dialogues. But I go back, for me, I'm mostly concerned about the FGM because if you even talk about this, that means the cultural practice, to be specific, maybe it will be around that FGM situation.
Oh, you mean the female genital mutilation issue?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's a major issue for me. I don't support it, even though it's been practiced in Liberia. But one thing I know, I tell people, just because you have a tradition of doing something does not make it legal also. I believe it's a kind of a human rights violation, but because of culture and tradition, we've been doing it for a very long period of time. One of the presidents I expected to have abolished was Madame Sally, being a female. She was there for 12 years. So I don't know whether Joseph Boga is just paying lip service, like I said, to the West when they come to the international conferences, because going back home, it means you got to engage in some kind of a dialogue too with the local and the traditional people because it's been practiced for long. Even though I would say I would consider it illegal, I don't think it's necessary. I don't buy into that idea of a tradition when you're going to deny somebody of certain right throughout their life and mutilate their body in the name of tradition. But for the traditional people and folks that have been practicing it for generations, more especially it's common in Joseph Boaga's own county. So it's not something the government can just take a unilateral decision. Maybe they got to consult with the traditional chiefs and elder, put it into law, lawmaker got to back that, and then you can make that move. But I, for one, believe that it's a form of abuse, one of the worst forms of abuse you can go through, also a human rights violation issue. So I'm totally against it, 110% against it. But it's up to the president. That's why he was elected. Let's see if he can do the trick.
Oh, yes, I like that, Mom. Let me also join you to say, yes, indeed, the president are failing in your own county because these things are not right. These things are serious violation against our mothers, our sisters. Allow them to agree when they want to. But you can't force people. You can't put babies into the kind of thing and you call that a tradition. Which tradition that don't want to educate people? Which tradition that don't want to build schools? Which tradition that don't want to build hospitals? Which tradition that don't want to improve the livelihood of the people, but only want to see the people into poverty? That's not tradition. That's not tradition. So again, let's move on. There are almost series of pointers here, but I think we just discuss the last one and move on to Donald Trump, who say onto the entire issue with the US stuff, because I think Donald Trump say a lot, and you already started with that. But let's move on with the I think the president talked about, is that point 5 years? I think the president talked about the Women Empowerment Project, supporting 36,000 women entrepreneurs across 6 counties, impacting over 260,000 citizens. Let me just say in the simplest form.
Yeah.
Are these people doing these things because they have consultants? So the consultant will just sit by and say, let's just write anything that we think we can write, so that our international panel, they can know that we're working. But if you come on the ground, Monk, it's far different. But what
it's different. That's what I'm saying. You can predict success or failure based on the leadership and their vision for the country. The people who are doing better, you want to tell me, you want me to sit here and believe that Joseph Boaga empowered more than 36,000 entrepreneur in one program? Do I look stupid to you to buy into that? Does the economic situation on ground even suggest that? I want for some of those women to call on the show. We have been heard throughout the country, right? We're on all the radio. Those people that are benefiting from that program, let them call here and make the case. And he didn't only say that. He said, look, that bro is such a, sometimes I can feel like we are getting with them. They got something called the Realize Project. It provided direct cash transfer to 16,000 families, primarily women-headed household, and more than 4,450 individuals. 80% of them are women. and they reached nearly 25,000 adolescents, girls, and young. Like, where these numbers are coming from, you can tell that they are just made up. Maybe when you live in Liberia, when you are empowering people to do business, you will see some kind of a transformation happening in terms of the economy, in terms of people taking themselves out of poverty. When last you heard about people giving testimonials on radio that they are receiving some direct assistance from the government about entrepreneurship? When last you heard that? Because they are all lies. Most of them are loud. They are far from the figure. But like I said, when they come to the international conferences, they got to appease the globalists that I'm working back there, because they know nobody will come and check behind them. That's just business as usual. It's just like auditioning. That's why I don't pay attention to these international conferences, because the reason that these international or globalist organizations were created, they are not even working in that regard. Whether it's whether it's
we're coming to that, Mom.
yeah.
We're coming to that. Yeah. You're quite correct, my dear brother. Let's move to talk about Ali. But Ali, what say you? Almost 100, how many thousand of our women have been given opportunity? What say you?
But therefore, I think we listen to President Walker doing his sonar when he talked about the youth empowerment and how many 10,000 Liberian youth were already trained or computer literate. All of these things, he was brave enough. You people were in Liberia there. He stood right down there, he lied. Just like that in the country. And this is the city. And this, I think, when you start to say, oh, Sktv, you can go say that, and so when the president like, when you want me to say, what a different name for lying. That's a blatant lie. You can't be lying to people like that. You told us that when you become president, nobody will stay in the street. People, children will not be in the street. They were our sisters there. They were studying. They can't even say a phone. Today, just as Mom said, if this thing were happening, people will be getting testimony. Oh, thank God, the United Party government, the government did this, the government did that. But you will come stay here and be lying to the people. And therefore, the question you ask, like just say that people will just say that and read all kinds of things and give it to the president and say, go over there, you go read it. And just like back at the man, that's it. Whether he in charge, whether he owe, he should just rescue the country. But this is a big disgrace for our country. As far as Joseph Baka is, for he to just come out on those kind of international conferences, big people sitting there and be lying like that on a broad daylight. That's not good for our country. Thank you.
Thank you. That's not good for our country. And on a very serious note, let me be frank. You can I don't even get it that you want to lie to the Western people about the life of your own people. Like, what? I don't get it. But as we transition, what say you with these leaders?
Maybe let me tell you something, right?
Yeah.
When you listen to people, right? English is very complicated. Why you got to pay attention. Sometimes when you don't understand, you got to come back. Even when you're reading books, sometimes when you read something, you got to read it 2 or 3 times to really get an understanding. It's one thing to say you are initiating a program, but they are telling the world that this program are yielding results. So Joseph Baka is telling the rest of the world that they were able to empower 36,000 women entrepreneurs. And that particular investment is impacting more than 260,000. That's 250,000 people in a country of 5 million. And you're telling me a guy like you, Maybonda, in the heart of the city, you cannot even feel the impact of one of those projects. How do you call that? And he's not only saying that he initiated the project, he's saying that they are yielding results. Which means they invested in the project and the project is giving them dividends, is giving results. So people, like I said, if this thing were happening, the whole of Labrador will be upside down, because you know what I mean? To empower 36,000 women entrepreneurs to do business, and they are impacting 260,000 individuals. Do the math. And you want
that's a plus. You were right. That's a plus. So that will come here, the project thing that maybe blow. But anyway, the government said, in fact, they will blow their own home. Maybe that one is start to blow, because when they blow it this way, maybe the international community will understand that indeed that they're doing well. But you can't lie to yourself. Look, to our leaders,
we could open a door against more women, because if they have more than 36,000 spread across 6 countries, then I know they could overwhelm this show today by giving some of the highlight, their sources, how much they receive from the government, the profit they are making, the people they are impacting. So at least we can know.
Yeah, so let's move also on that. Let's move with President Donald Trump. Also, in fact, he very, very criticize the entire process. Every time when the people go ADAL or UNGA, or they go there for so many unnecessary reasons and so many things that don't even make no sense. At the end of the day, what are people are struggling, like what we just talked about, what they do there is no here, no there. layman term we can always call it. But Donald Trump talk about the entire UN, Mark, the entire UN, accusing the UN of operating with empty words and empty talks that they don't solve nothing. All they do is just empty. Mark, what say you with even our leaders that are also going on some of the programs, and sometimes they carry thousands of dollars as DSA, all of the things, all of the money they go with, but at the end of the day, sometimes they come back with zero. What say you?
You know, people got their own take when it comes to the Trump. For me, I know people can be in their feelings. I don't like to talk about Trump too much when it comes to the politics. But I know there's a reason I support Donald Trump. Donald Trump will say things that look offensive, but when you can take a step back and improve your thinking and just see things from a bigger perspective, then you know exactly what he's talking about. You know, there are people in history who call disruptor. They got certain people that put system in place, and we just been running the same script over and over. They got people who believe that things are now how they are being controlled, and they want to disrupt the system. In some instances, you would disagree with them, maybe their presentation or how they call it, but you cannot deprive them of the reality. The primary reason for which the UN was created, it was to serve as a global forum for collective action to maintain international peace, security, development, relationship between nations, cooperation, solving economic problems. The question is, from 1945 to now, it's been more than 60 years. Can you make the case that the UN is implementing the reason why she was created? We just saw one with USAID program, a program that was created to push America foreign policy across the world. At the end of the day, it became so corrupt that only 12 cents out of every dollar reached the country they were intended for. Let me give you one example. The Bretton Woods, what you call the IMF and the World Bank, they said they were meant to bring economic cooperation and help country. The only thing that is on record that is a proven fact and statistic is that more countries became poorer and indebted to the World Bank and the IMF. Meaning they signed up for perpetual poverty. Let me tell you something, Mabon. I know people may not be comfortable with this, but you cannot hide from the truth. The reason, let me tell you another thing. People don't like to think and rationalize things because thinking will make you very uncomfortable. Thinking will make you to abandon your pre-existing belief. It will find uncomfortable, but you cannot change the truth. Let me tell you, after World War II, America came up with an idea they call the Marshall Plan, because Europe at the time, before World War II, they are our biggest trading partner, right? America figured out that if Europe is destroyed infrastructurally, then we will be losing in the long run because they are our trading partner. We have to empower them. So America came up with an idea they call the Marshall Plan to rebuild the entire infrastructure in Europe, from Germany to Spain to Italy. The whole Europe today came from America. And when you carry on infrastructural project, you need a bank to finance that project. That's how they came up with the World Bank and the IMF. That was the only reason they were created. But guess what? When you print the money and you give the loan, somebody must pay the debt and the interest. And guess who's been paying the debt for the past 50 years? Poor, mostly African country. So how can you tell me that the World Bank was created to take third world country out of poverty when you cannot give me one single country that came out of the World Bank within 50 or 60 years? So it means most of these institutions, they are outdated, but people don't want to accept it because of what? That's the lie they are used to. And human being hate to abandon something that have been drilled into their brain for more than 50 years to tell them to change it. No, even when the reality are blinkingly clear, they will still choose not to subscribe to that kind of thing because it makes them uncomfortable. They are not used to it. And matter of fact, that's how the human being brain is programmed. We are used to absorbing information we are used to. In your Bible you read now, if somebody want to contradict certain scripture in the Bible, you will find it offensive because all your life, that's what you've been told. It's the only spiritual book you have read. So for someone to come and teach you, even when the reality are there, you will still choose not to believe it because that's how you've been programmed. That's just how the world works, my brother.
Thank you. Brother Ali, what say you? UN or the UNDA or the UN, it has such tremendous potential, but it's not even coming close to living up to that potential. Donald Trump and more just stated, or if I say so many things about the UN. And Brother Ali, what say you? Have we really benefiting from all of these things, or we just going to replace it so that we too can be seen and just participate, or later on we'll come back? What say you?
I mean, we only got to participate, but we are not really getting anything from those things. How many times I hear people, oh yeah, went to United Nations General Assembly, they left from there, and this is why they got from there, or the American government gave them this, or the United Nations gave them this. So this thing you only come to participate. You know, these people, we are only there for them to get from us, but to give to us is not easy. Yeah, it's supposed to be give and take, but we don't get anything from this thing. We just come to the United Nations General Assembly. We come, we speak all the BP English, we say all of the Google thing, and at the end of the day, we go back. So I don't really know what's the essence, but this is something that has been existing for a very long period of time. And that's why sometimes some world leaders, they can look at the whole thing, they say, how you say COVID, that they send somebody to go represent them. Because for them, the time they will take to come, I think it's better they stay in their country and see what they can do for their people. Because you stand to benefit nothing from all those United Nations General Assembly conferences they've been having over and over. So that's just it there. But other people in our country, they see it as a means to come and get some money, because every traveler you make, you will get money. So they have to come. Time in, time out. That's what been happening. But that's it there. Nothing else.
Times out, that was exactly been happening. You know, sometimes people are a bit confused with some of these things, but the most stated, never sister, yes. And we've been all into there. I know someone will say, but maybe he don't know that in father will forward. But I'm gonna go back, because maybe these are things that we're playing on the mind of our people. Now we have fought war, and UN were able to come and make us to have peace. More, what say you?
That's not the logic of the argument. The logic of the argument is, once we are human beings, we got differences, we got greedy people, we got political instability. There will always be war for as long as human beings live on this planet. Even in your home, you can get disagreement with your own wife. So talk about countries. The thing here is, there are certain wars that are unnecessary, that could have been avoided. And these people, and don't forget, it's also money making. Every crisis in the world is money making. When they bring virus, pharmaceutical companies make money. When they crash the market, Wall Street make money. When they come out with technology, the people in Silicon Valley make money. When they disrupt one country that supply oil, the oil price increases, people make money. So war is also another profitable machine, because we got something in America and in every industrialized country in the world. Let me give you one example. The three major dealers of arms and ammunition in the world happens to be America, China, and Russia. And these people sit on a committee that tell you that their goal is to stop war. Even if you got more brain, at what point you use your brain? The same people that sell the most arms in the world, of all the countries on the planet combined, they are telling you they are creating a committee to stop war. Why do you think they are giving the weapon in the first place? Ain't that the fair war? Mabel, I'm asking you, the three major ammunition in the world, America, Russia, and China. And they are the one telling you that we are committed to stopping war, but they are giving you arms and ammunition to fight war. If you're a smaller country, at what point in the world you will use your brain to say, you know what, I'm not the smartest in the world, but equally so I'm not the stupidest ever. How can these people tell me? It's just common sense, and it's there. It's glaring. That's why the guy said it's not about war. We know war will exist, but most of these wars, they were created purposely for profit making. They are not there to bring about global peace and stability. So that's a lie. You don't want to hear it, but it's the truth. We see it all the time. There were wars that could have been avoided. There are wars that could have ended, but guess what? Every time you see UN troops in your country, trust me, hundreds of billions or millions of dollars is coming. And who Page lives in? The same people that are in New York, the same way they how they call it there, the program you call the USAID program. Yeah, they gave you $1, but you only receive $12. The direct recipient received 12 cents. Then 88 cents lives in Washington D.C. or any other industrialized country. That's just why it is. It's profitable for them. So the whole idea that the concept of UN, no, it's totally contradicting to the reality. We just been on a pawn on a chessboard. That's just why it is. I respect America, I respect the West, but equally so, I think the war has changed. The war keeps evolving all the time. You cannot keep peeing on my neck and telling me it's raining. I know this thing.
And then where I'm coming more, should we now say that Donald Trump is now opening the eyes? Because most of the time, people will always, most of our leaders, they are afraid of the organization to even speak out because of the cartel. Let me be frank that you just stated that you say here and there. Because these people, they have all kinds of NGOs that they pass through to even collect most of the money. So because of that, our officials or our government always bend down to them or succumb to them. So, Mark, can we now say that Donald Trump is opening the eyes of especially our African leaders?
He's been doing it forever, even before the first term. The fact is, the corrupt African leaders, in the history are there, right? We know leaders that spoke against the global cartel. Most of them got killed. From Patrice Lumumba to how they call it, got Thomas Sankara, and then to Julius Nyerere and all the guys we all know. So the new corrupt group now will use that as an excuse. That's what I'm saying. If you can think, then you will support a Trump. Because back in the day, when the globalists ran the show, when you go against the globalist plan, they will kill you. We got leaders that became victims from crime. We can name them. It never ends all over the world. So if you got a U.S. president that will be bold enough to stand up at the UN General Assembly with the whole world watching and say, you know what, the reason you created these institutions, they are worthless and useless, then it means he's encouraging you to support him to think against these people. But you know what they'll do? They will steal from your poor country and lie that, oh, we are afraid because I don't want to be assassinated as President Tobo. I don't want to get shot at Ronald Reagan. I don't want to be dragged in the street or killed like Abraham Lincoln, because these were the leaders that stood up to the cartel. That's why you see whenever a president comes to power, when you see them putting their anger and rage against them, it means that something he's doing that they don't like. And the people who can challenge the system are the ones that always get killed or get shot. How many times did Donald Trump escape assassination attempt? Twice. How many times Ronald Reagan escaped assassination attempt? Twice. JFK never succeeded. He got killed. Lincoln never succeeded. He got killed. Andrew Jackson, you can name it. That's why it's good to read history. It's been happening over and over all over the world. So if you don't have the boss, then how can you not support the guy who got the boss to stand? You know, that's why when he's speaking, they don't clap, because it makes them to feel uncomfortable. Maybe, who do you think create all the NGOs? More than 60% or then 75%. They form right there.
Everything for the US. Most of the NGOs for the US. You're right.
Because they know when the money is coming, it passes through them. That's why the moment the president say, oh, let's cut down some of these useless NGO. Yeah, why you saw in America, they started burning Elon Musk's car and they waging war. Because they steal from poor people. That's why they keep expanding the government. They keep creating. They almost like Liberia, right? You get a lawmaker, they come up with some procurement law where they give themselves contract, even though they're working in government, but they're still stealing from the taxpayer. When the government pass budget, then the contract come back to them. Then they eat the money. They're getting paid from the legislature. Then equally so they're getting paid from the bogus corporation that they keep creating. Whether that mining company, whether that logistic company, whether that truck. It's the same thing that happened here in a different way. You create a government. You want for more people to work in the private sector. But every year you adding thousands of NGOs to the list, because they know when the money comes, the money passes through them. It can't even reach to the country that they were intended to benefit. That's just why they get.
So let's move back quickly. We have about a minute to go, but let's move back quickly. I think that this is the same behavior with most of our leaders. That, for example, even the lawmakers, or even alleged that in fact the vice president or some of the executive members, they have quote unquote they do the car rental stuff where they rent trucks to the companies. And then, Mark, is that the same thing that we are also experiencing?
Maybe, you know what I will do? I will send you a 30-second video, and just before we transition, I will want you to play that video for our audience, just to give you a quick synopsis of what I'm saying here. Like I said, it's happening all over the world. The only difference here is they got different way of doing it here. Maybe when you come to Washington, D.C., and you're from a poor country, you take millions of dollars to come to Washington, D.C. to pay lobbyists in America on K Street, where they get all the offices. They call them think tank, they call them lobbyists. Or lobbyist is just an offensive way of saying is a criminal who works for a politician. That before you get to that politician to play your quid pro quo or to get favor, you must pass through this office. That's just why it is. You come to America, you take like $700,000 that you could have invested maybe in children feeding program or paying teachers, and you give it to some lobbyists in Washington, just to give you a positive report how you are doing better on corruption. Then you take that report, you come to Liberia. Oh, America said we're doing great on fighting corruption, but you see the reality that the country is in poverty because of corruption. But yet you took millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands to come bribe or lobby. Now, who you think is a lobbyist? If not, it's another criminal. It's the same old thing. Maybe it happens in the government, it happens in NGO. They come up with the bogus status, they come up with the NGO just to take money from the system.
Indeed, because Mark, I think we will really talk more after the news break. But Mark, I think you are saying the same cycle. It is the same cycle that we are seeing here today. Just because of that, our people are suffering from poverty. Because, like, for example, this lawmaker, who also is a senator, like, for example, giving trucks to somebody company. Like, for example, and the company rent, or maybe they are renting the trucks from the lawmaker. Is that not conflict of interest? And that's what we are seeing here today around the world. That indeed, this same group of people from whatsoever place they find themselves, they will come back in Africa, especially in the poor countries, and be able to just cajole our people and get money from out of them. By the way, Mark, let's go for the news break. When we come back, trust me, we will dive more into our discussion here this evening. So let's go for a break. Yeah, thank you to all of you going for the news break and be right back. Good evening, RCR News Bulletin at 7. My name is Emmanuel Sensi reporting. First, the headlines. Montserrat County District now Representative Francois Foucault describes the Boakakung administration as a failed government that was brought to power through lies and deceit. Senate Committee on Investment and Concessions warns Nimba County Senator Yatwayan to avoid confrontations and remain positive in his engagements with ArcelorMittal Liberia. Liberian Fisheries Acting Director General rallies partners to transform the sector at Second Development Partners out of Liberia. Malawi ex-president takes lead in vote count results show. Those are the headlines, not the news in details. Montserrat County District now Representative Francois Foucault has described the Boakakung administration as a failed government that came to power through lies and deceit. Speaking to a group of journalists recently, Representative Foucault pointed out that the Liberians are disappointed, frustrated, and regret voting the Unity Party into power. According to him, most of the projects the Unity Party government is now boasting about were initiated by the previous CDC administration. He further mentioned that comes 2029, former President George Weah will be re-elected and the image of the country will be restored. In response to his statement, a permanent citizen of District 9, Ibrahim Kurman, branded Representative Francois Foucault as a failed lawmaker who has nothing tangible to show since his election. The chair of the Senate Committee on Investment and Concessions has advised Nimba County Senator Yatwayan to avoid confrontations and remain positive in his engagements with ArcelorMittal Liberia. Senator Numenin Batikwan acknowledged that Senator Twayan's advocacy concerning ArcelorMittal's operations is in the right direction, but urged him to do so in a more constructive manner.
The Grand Coup County Senator's remarks followed Senator Twain's recent criticism of his colleagues over their visit to the Aslomito concession without Senate approval. However, Senator Batikwa clarified that the visit was authorized based on a request from the Senate plenary. He also dismissed as false and misleading public claims that money was offered by the company to the committee members that recently visited the construction site in Nimba County. Bapolu County District 1 Representative Zina Norman has officially launched a mobile clinic in Bopolu District. The initiative, described as the first of its kind in the district, seeks to bring essential medical services directly to towns and villages where residents often struggle to access healthcare due to poor road conditions, long distances, and limited facilities. Speaking at the launch, Representative Norman emphasized that the mobile clinic is part of his commitment to improving the well-being of his constituents, particularly women, children, and the elderly who remain the most vulnerable. This mobile healthcare clinic will move to the people, ensuring that every community, no matter how far, receive the care they deserve. He remarked local leaders and residents hailed the initiative as a timely intervention, noting that it could help reduce deaths caused by preventable diseases and improve public health outcomes. The Environmental Eyes Consultancy and Advocacy Firm Incorporated, IFCAD, have appreciated the Environmental Protection Agency of Liberia for the timely submission of Liberia's third nationally determined contribution. According to IFCAD, this marks a pivotal movement in Liberia's ongoing climate action journey and demonstrates a renewed national commitment to global climate goals under the Paris Agreement. The release followed that the dedicated technical team at EPA and the government of Liberia for the successful development and timely submission of Liberia's third nationally determined contribution, NDC-3, to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. The NDC-3 submission is not only a fulfillment of Liberia's international obligation, but also a reaffirmation of the country's recognition of climate change as a serious threat to its national development, public health, food security, and natural ecosystems, and the overall well-being of its people. Liberia has formally joined other countries to sign the Declaration on the Protection of Humanitarian Personnel on September 22, 2025, on the sidelines of the 80th section of the United Nations General Assembly. Speaking at Mika regular press briefing Tuesday, Deputy Information Minister for Press and Public Affairs Daniel Sandu said the declaration adds to the numerous international instruments on protecting aid workers in times of conflicts. He explained that it aims to make humanitarian workers safer and more respected under international laws, especially local and national staff, which often faces the greatest danger during conflicts. Deputy Minister Sano added that the declaration was championed by a ministerial group led by Australia, Jordan, Switzerland, Indonesia, Sierra Leone, the United Kingdom, Japan, Brazil, and Colombia. Meanwhile, the government of Liberia has assured EU member states that the country will work closely with African members of the United Nations Security Council to advance the interests of Africa during Liberia's tenure on the council. Deputy Minister Sanu stated that Liberia will specifically advance an agenda that reforms UN peacekeeping and explores means of addressing the climate crisis and its link to natural resources and conflict. The Alternative National Congress is expected to hold its 2025 National Convention in Kakata, Mangini County. The convention is aimed at electing new corps of officers and chart a way forward to the 2029 presidential and legislative elections in Liberia. The convention organizing Chairman Patrick Moore disclosed that delegates are expected to adopt a new constitution, raise funds, and develop a budget to run the party. Speaking recently in Rufio, Moore disclosed that several political parties and prominent personalities are expected to grace the occasion. He is therefore encouraging members of the ANC who are not delegates to make their way and grace the convention. The National Fisheries and Aquaculture Authorities, NAFA Acting Director General Sarah Simbe, has issued a resounding call for greater collaboration and investment in Liberia's fisheries sector as in rally development partners at the second Fisheries Development Partners Coordination Group meeting held at NAFA headquarters on Busho Island. In a passionate appeal, Mr. Sibe underscored Liberia's determination to build a world-class fisheries industry through stronger partnerships, enhanced governance, and board reform. He reaffirmed NAFA's commitment to transparency, accountability, and reform-driven leadership, stressing that Liberia is intentional and unwavering in its mission to eradicate illegal, underreported, and unregulated fishing. Asha in Liberia has convened a one-day just transmission media dialogue in Monrovia aimed at strengthening the role of journalists in promoting climate justice through accurate and informed reporting. The dialogue brought together media practitioners to educate and engage them on key climate justice concepts, particularly the idea of a just transition, a framework that champions people-centered solutions and prioritizes the needs of the poor and vulnerable in the shift towards a sustainable economy. Speaking at the opening of the section, Asha A Liberia Country Director Elizabeth Bayer Johnson emphasized the organization's ongoing work within communities to raise awareness on climate justice. She noted that the engagement with the media is a strategic effort to deepen understanding and expand advocacy around the just transition framework. The event underscored the critical importance of just transition within the broader fight against climate change, highlighting the need for collective action that is equitable and inclusive. Key focus areas such as agroecology and climate financing were spotlighted as central to ASHA's climate justice approach, particularly in the lead up to the 30th Conference of Parties scheduled to be held in Brazil. Asha Aid Liberia reiterated its stance that Liberia's position at international climate forums must be people-centered, hold major polluters accountable, and resist the imposition of development loans that deepens economic burdens rather than support genuine climate justice. The National Timberwood Construction and Allied Workers Union of Liberia has rejected the government's plan to pay outstanding debts owed to former timber workers via mobile money. The Ministry of Finance and Development Planning, through Deputy Minister for Economic Affairs, Defo Zul, recently announced that $7 million United States dollars will be disbursed to affected workers through mobile money platforms after a vetting process. However, speaking at a press conference in Monrovia, the Union Secretary General Marcus Blaman strongly opposed the move. None out of Liberia. The head of the to end this news, a recap of the top stories. Monserrat County District 9 Representative Fensa Foko describes the Bureaucracy administration as a failed government that was given state power through lies and deceived. Senate Committee on Investment and Concessions warns Nimba County Senator Nyatwans to avoid confrontations and remain positive in his engagements with Axelometer Liberia. Liberian Fishery Acting Director General rallies partner to transform the sector at Second National Partners Meeting. That's RCR News Bulletin up to the minute. My name is Emmanuel Sensi. Good evening.
Education, healthcare, and social development at our level. Through our agenda for inclusive development, Liberia will invest $8.3 billion over 5 years to transform lives with gender equality, youth empowerment, education, healthcare, and social development at our level. Through our agenda for inclusive development, Liberia will invest $8.3 billion over 5 years to transform lives with gender equality, youth empowerment, education, healthcare, and social development at our level. Through our agenda for inclusive development, Liberia will invest $8.3 billion over 5 years to transform lives with gender equality, youth empowerment, education, healthcare, and social development at all levels. Through our agenda for inclusive development, Liberia will invest $8.3 billion over 5 years to transform lives with gender equality, youth empowerment, education, healthcare, and social development at all levels. Through our agenda for inclusive development, Liberia will invest $8.3 billion over 5 years to transform lives with gender equality, youth empowerment, education.
Good. So we sincerely apologize to those of you, our viewers, yeah, for the little technical issues. But again, we're back after the news break. Yeah, it's not easy to go through with all of different. Yeah, but thank God that we're back. Let me see what about Ali is here. Monk is here already. Okay, let me see which way we go. All right, good. Yeah, so but Ali, that Monk, we're back after the news break. I don't know what you're following. If so, what are some of the things that maybe you people grab from the news break or from the news bulletin? If not, then we'll continue with our broadcast.
No, I didn't follow the news break.
More? All right. So, Brother Aliu?
Yeah,
Aliu,
yes.
check your mic. Maybe you are muted though. So, yeah, check your mic.
Can you hear me now?
Let me see. I'm still setting up. Right. Okay, good. Good to go. So, yes, Mom wanted me to play this video. Let me see what I can get my hand on this video and be able to play this video. Yes, but I want Mom to come up first. But again, folks, again, we've been around and we stayed around since 6 o'clock this evening. We've been discussing about our leaders, their behavior, the way they act, and what they do, and so forth. And also Donald Trump or President Donald Trump reactions. Also, when it comes to the issue of even the UC, the UN, and so forth. I don't even know whether it's an eye opener now for our leaders because most of our leaders too, they are also corrupt because they Mark.
Yeah, I'm here. You hear me?
Yes, go ahead, Mark.
Yeah.
We're getting you. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm back. I don't listen to the news, but usually I go grab something to drink on and sit outside a little bit and come back to my desk. Yep.
Yes. So for the news break, Steve Boyle already too are following also too. Yet, but let me ask Brother Ali. Brother Ali, what say you? Whether you are following the news bulletin or you follow? If so, what are some of the things that you get from there?
I didn't follow the news. No.
All right. So for the news break, Steve, you already copied most of it. Like Young Tuan now, who been one of the whistleblower, also a lawmaker, also blowing the whistle behind his colleagues, and the colleagues are not calling on him. I need to proceed the right way. I don't know what they mean by that. But Mark, what say you with that?
No, they're telling him the foreign land. Because you want to act like a whistleblower, you want to expose the cartel will come after you. We've seen the other political leaders. It's the same thing happening all over the world, and people don't want to open their eye. They want to put their emotion before their logic. But when you see it, you know exactly that's what's happening. Melbourne, why we a country like Liberia, one of the poorest in the world after 177 years? You forget about your people, right? You take limited resources from your country to come bribe some lobbyists with influence peddling here to give you just a report to go and lie to your own people back home. How is that a word meant for? Isn't that waste? Isn't that criminality at the highest level? But that's what they've been doing. And like I said, the one who are brave, they will stand up at the expense of their own life. They will say what is right. The other group that want to be notorious in criminal manner, they will fall in line and use it as a skill and be like, oh, President Toba was killed for this same thing. Thomas Sankara was killed for this. Julian Nawari was killed for this. Or Kwame Nkrumah was killed for this. I don't want to be the next victim. So what do? They use it as a means to justify their stealing from poor people. That's just why it is. It's nothing more.
Wow, good. But Ali, I don't know whether you set and ready for that also. What say you with that? Whistleblower that I've been, in fact, talked to that I think he got to proceed rightly. I don't know which one is rightly. But is he proceeding wrongly, Brother Ali?
No.
Well, the marketing people will tell well, proceeding right or but just as Monk said, when you try to do the right thing, they will tell you you need to proceed right because the cartels, they are there to steal, and you want to come like a clean man. So right now, if he can fall in line with them, in the next coming days or month, we will see something happening. Yes, these people, they only come to power, they see, that's why everybody wants government positions, because that's on the job, everybody get rich from there. So this is what your friends are doing to get rich. And if you want to come and stand up for your people, they are already telling you to proceed rightly, which is you have to join them or else they will come after you. You see, that's what's happening. People always say people can be out and they can speak, but when they get in the house, they don't speak again, because these are some of the things. When you get there, you want to speak, you should know how you're speaking, because or else we know what can happen and they know what can happen there. So it is up to him.
So let's go back. Yeah, go ahead. I want to ask you quickly, but go ahead.
Yes, I was just learning. So it is up to him that he should know where he's standing and who are those people that are in line with him. Okay, so his standing point.
So let's go back to the fear tactics, because and the same question also go back to Monk. Also now go to Monk video. Monk, some of the reasons, or maybe let's just maybe agree to say, okay, because these are some of the reasons why people are always corrupt. Is that because maybe fear tactics, fear of their lives and so forth, and when they meet the system and say, well, since I cannot change the system, like Senator Dallas, let me also join the system.
Yeah, that's what they will do. Let me tell you something, right? It took me a while to figure this thing out. You got to carry on some deep thought about it, right? When you talk about the national budget, right, it's the largest instrument, financial instrument in the entire bureaucracy, right? That's why when you have a lawmaker, they got a fancy name for it. They call it national cake, right? Cake, the word cake alone, it sends a different kind of message to your brain. Because when you hear the word cake, you want to eat as much as possible. When you go to a kid and you give them cake, you get them peace, they want more because it's sweet, right? It's something that didn't work for. It was something that was provided for them. It's how politicians view the national budget. That's why they can call it national cake in your country. Okay. I told you before, I said you got only two sectors in this world. You got the public and the private sector. In the private sector, you must work for everything. You got to compete. They get performance indicator. You got to study. You got to be working hard. The only place on planet, or the only institution on planet wherein other people are given the legal right to spend other people's money is in government. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for politicians. Think about a guy that never had a job, without a prosper getting a good job, and you make him finance minister. Why do you think it's more likely to happen in his life? He will steal. It's a once-in-a-life opportunity to make himself rich. For something he couldn't accomplish in the private sector, he must get it now overnight in the public sector, because there will be no time in his life he will be given the opportunity to legally spend other people's money. The same with lawmaker. How it works. You get a national budget, and the same politician put in the budget, they got to do research and development, how to study mouse, right? You're talking about rat or cat, and they got to do research on it. But bon, to implement that job, you need an NGO, right? Or non-governmental organization. If the lawmaker who is on the budget committee knows that the government put $3 million in the budget to study about mouse, what do you think he's going to do next? He's going to create an NGO to do mouse study. Now you see how the government grows, right? Because he knows what's allocated in the budget, and he's in the position of power, right? To detect how the national budget is going to be spent. So for the government to implement that project, he's going to create a bogus company or corporation or the bogus NGO so that money can come back to him. So it means the more they add to the budget, the more money they get in kickback. That's how politicians get rich. That's why you can work your whole life. You will never make $500,000. A politician could be given 1.5 years, he can get more than $3 million or $5 million over the lifespan of his career, because it's the only place that you are giving a license to steal other people's money in the name of a budget. And the same thing.
I like the word you just used.
Play that video. I think it gets less than a minute. Play that video.
Yes, indeed. Let me see. You look, indeed, interesting people. What a society. All right, so let me see. Let me get the video now. So the video is okay.
Ronald Reagan warned us decades ago, and today, Doge is the answer.
Place that they actually determine policy in this country more than does the Congress of the United States. There are 14.5 million public employees in the United States. That's quite a voting bloc. And the bureaus and agencies, now in Washington, I heard you talking earlier about some of the research programs. What would you say if I told you about a study in which this was called the demography of happiness? And in this study, the government found out that young people are happier than old people. And they found out that people that earn more are happier than people that earn less. And they found out that well people are happier than sick people.
That's good. Well,
this was $249,000 to find out it's better to be rich, young, and healthy than old, poor, and sick.
Ronald.
They call it a demographic. Can you imagine?
Wow.
You got more than 14 million people in the private sector, because like I said, you give them the license to steal. Who need a research to tell whether younger people are happier than older people? The older you get, the less happier you become, because you got more stress and more responsibility, right? When you're poor and you are happy, who needs to conduct a study to know that the people with more money will be happier than people with less money? And who need a study or a research to know whether sick people, or people that are well are happier than people that are sick? How can you be happy when you're sick? Do you need a study for that? But he was telling you in 1980 when they spent $290,000 just on studying the demography of happiness. Who needs that? Because like I said, politicians, they are advanced criminals. When you give them that leverage and state power over to them, including the resources, they will do everything to get as much money as possible. That's why every time when a politician comes on the scene, especially when he's from the business background, he becomes a threat. They want to assassinate him. They want to kill him because why? He's going to expose the way how they do business. And anybody who go against the cartel must get rid of you. That's why it happened to countless presidents throughout history. You talk against the cartel, they will kill you. It's simple as that, my brother.
But Mark, then I go back, because I think all of these talking, all of these issues, these points are just 100% So that means, Mark, in short, that means because the same politician play the people. Man, you gotta go back to the people. How they play these people, Mark? Because they will make things look like they are not the problem. They will make things look like you, Mark, you are the problem. And at the end of the day, they will come and shake your hands, eat with you, and even have fruitful discussion with you. But they are claiming that you are the problem.
Well, the thing is, at the end of the day, we got structure in place in society. We must go to the ballot box. We must cast our ballot. It's almost like you are auditioning for the job. The politician got to come on the campaign trail. He got to convince you. He got to prove to you that he's worthy. He's worthy of carrying on that job to give you result. But in the case of politics, more often, like I said, people use their emotion, not their logic. They go with the feelings and the morale of the term. The one who is just more popular. They don't look at your background. They don't look at your qualification. They don't look at the chance of you giving up the result. And one thing I know, nobody can predict the future, right? We are all hoping for better in the future. So you will still have to take a risk on a candidate. The reason you take risk in politics is it's not because the president is 100% guaranteed to be a success, but you are looking at the president having a higher probability of giving you a better result. Because they can come and fool you, you can cast your ballot, but the moment they take office, it's a whole different ball game. Now it left with them for them to meet their share of the bargain. So in some instances, I don't blame the people. I only blame them when they know in advance that candidate will not give you result, but you still go and vote for them. Because even the one that will give you result, you are still taking a risk. Because nobody had become president before. Presidency almost once in a lifetime experience. So if I'm going to place my bet on Milburn, I say, I know what, Milburn is qualified to be the president for Liberia. There is still some risk to it. But the difference is, I should do some background check on Milburn. What Milburn background? What Milburn did for himself in his personal life? How many businesses Milburn ran that he was able to turn around? Okay, Milburn had a job before in the past. He was former finance minister. What was his performance there? That how people make decisions before you can go and charge your ballot. But now, like I said, the politicians don't want you to concentrate on that. The guy who's the most popular, the guy who the tribal people support, the one who say he can identify with the indigenous, the tribal, Congo, native politics, or rich people for the poor people, they play on your emotion. And at the end of the day, most people are going to fall for that. That's how corrupt presidents come to power.
Wow. Mark, I just let
me ask you one question, right? Let me ask you one question. Maybe let me ask you one question, just based on what I just said about electoral politics. Nobody saw, Adama Traore coming, right?
No.
Okay. So it means we got some Adama Traores in Liberia, but the way how the people pick their leaders, we don't do that way, right? Whether or Porky Campbell or any other president that do it better. If Adama Traore was in Liberia, or he was a politician in Liberia, and he chose to contest for the next election, what are the chances that he would have gotten elected in Liberia?
Zero.
Zero to none. But yeah, it's a man who can give you result. But the way how we pick our president in Liberia is totally different because people don't concentrate on things that they should concentrate on the most. We are looking for the more popular, the one who can dance, the one who is more tribal, the one who hate people from overseas, or the one who believe Congo. And those are the one, the least competent one are the one giving the front row seats when it comes to running the affairs of the country. That's why we can never get a result.
Thank you, Mark. It's a risk. I just like in fact the way you put it, because indeed you are quite correct, 100%. We don't, because every time we change leaders. That, for example, even though lawmakers, every time we will change lawmakers, you bring in the other lawmakers, the one that will do good. After you bring them in fact, they even turn terrible, even to the past one. But Ali, what say you with the entire issues? But Ali. All right, so it's like are you having something to do behind the scene? Yeah, so let me just join you, Mark, and say yes, you are quite correct. For me, our leaders, I think they are the problem. But Mark, let me ask you this question. Sometimes voting for these people that just stated is rigged, or it's something that we are playing gamble. Let me just say that way. It's a gamble. Whether you will win, whether you will lose, you don't know. But Mark, what can we stand up? What can the people themselves stand up and say, no, we voted you, that what happened in Nepal, that we voted you for you to do the right thing. How come you are deviating from the right thing? That, for example, the reason why today you see that the CDC, they are even having that quote-unquote brave mind now, people, that they will come out and say, yes, we can come back, we can do this. It's just because they feel that this government is not proceeding rightly. Mark, but how come the same people that went to the pool, how come they are afraid to tell the government, no, we voted for you so that you can do the right thing? How come you are not doing the right thing?
Well, that's why I keep telling you, because the typical example you just used, like I said, you look at people, right? Even though you are taking a risk when you go to the ballot box, you are hoping that a politician come to office and do better. But the reason you will go there and still pick a leader, because you must still pick one of them. But you're looking at the one with the lowest risk, because everything in life comes down to risk. Remember, when your woman go get birth, there is a chance that she could die in childbirth. But the reason you're pregnant a woman, or in the future, because you believe that more often than not, she will come out alive than dead. The same way when getting on a car. When you get on a car, you could get involved in an accident. But you know that more than 98% of the time when you get on a car, you find yourself home. So every morning you wake up and you jump in the car to go to work. So there are always risk factors. The only thing is, when you're doing your risk calculation, look at the higher risk versus the lower risk. The reason people cannot say that, because like I said, it's all about the emotional aspect, not the logical aspect. Like the CDC case. We came from CDC to Joseph Boakai. It was because of CDC poor performance that we elected Boakai. How can any logical person in their mind believe we should go back to CDC because Joseph Boakai is not performing? Does that even make sense to you? That's why I keep telling people, politics Most people don't use logic, they use emotion, because emotion is stronger than logic. And people hate to think. Thinking will make you uncomfortable. Thinking will make you to abandon your belief. That's why human beings find it comfortable to even make the wrong decision, because it makes them to feel comfortable in making wrong decision. That's just why it is. It's human behavior.
Wonderful. Let's move to the line to interact with our people, our listeners out there, those of you who are following. Indeed, this is the Tuesday edition of the SKTV show. We here on this beautiful Tuesday, and we've been talking about so many issues ranging from the UNGA, the president won't call or talk about our women, our mothers, and so forth. There are so many pointers. In fact, 6 pointers that the president talk about. You know, the issue of gender-based violence and so forth, back to back. And with our politicians, most of our politicians they live on the expense, or they live at the expense of the people, because they quote unquote all of their lives are just free of charge on the people, and they do more business again on the same people that they live free of their life on. I don't get it.
Yeah.
That somebody that, for example, a lawmaker have 15% supposed to work in their office, or working in their office, and that same person or that same lawmaker sometimes have or in fact they have duty free. Everything about them going places is free of charge, and the government gave them car. Well, I don't get it. And they still poorly perform.
Yeah.
And they still poorly perform with all of the services that have been given to them. Okay, we want you to do our work, so we don't want you to stress yourself. So the best thing to do is you will not pay any dime or cent for anything that you bring in this country. Even we will give you car, we will give 15% to work in your office or whatsoever place that you want to carry them, but 15%. Even we'll give duty free every month, and if in fact we'll give you 10,000 or 8,000 or 9,000 per month, we'll give you gas tax, we'll give you everything. But then among these people are still poorly performing.
Maybe that's a law of give and take. When people work hard for something at the end, when people put in that effort, they want to perform right exceedingly, because you know when you do good work, you will get rewarded for that. Nobody puts effort into something that they get free. It becomes an entitlement. You give the man car, you change a car every 2 to 3 years, you give him few gas slip, you give him all the duty free at the port for doing literally nothing. Why make you think he will wake up from bed in the morning with the idea that he should go and work hard? The only place people work hard in the private sector, because you must compete. Your return on investment or your reward is based on the effort that you put in. In the case of government, you don't have to do nothing. That's why politicians go into office. They could care less about giving results. Let me tell you something, maybe when you do history and you check, look at all the countries that became successful. Why you think most of them have military leaders in Africa? From Gaddafi to King Hassan to Rawlins. Why you think the country that were doing better, most of them? Because there is one thing you are taught in the military. That's why I say discipline and environment is more powerful than genetics. Because in the military, even in America, there was a study done here by McKinsey about the CEO. Almost 38% of all the Fortune 500 companies CEO, they have military background. You know why? Because military teaches you one thing: discipline.
Discipline.
Discipline. That's why when you put a military man in power, they always give you better results than your so-called lawmaker, your president. Because military.
Look, let me frame one. This is terrible for us as a nation. That you pay people, and they are still running after signature fees. They are still running after concessions. Jesus.
They all get companies. They all got companies. They all get kickbacks on the same budget and get rich. Yeah, they won't renting to all the concession companies, all the concessionaires in Liberia. They are the one providing logistical support. Lawmakers, can you imagine?
Everything. Yeah, everything. So let's go to the line to interact with our people. I don't know what Aliu, is there anything you want to say quickly? But if not, let me see how best to go to the line to interact with our people. The number to call is 0770-203125. That's the number to call. The WhatsApp number is also there. Those of you who are also watching, you can also place in your call on the WhatsApp, and most definitely you will be part of the show this evening. Yes, indeed, we're here. And thanks to all of you for watching. Let me get to the line to interact with our first caller. Today's caller, good evening. Hello. All right, keep the calls coming. 0770-203125. Poor, rich country, poor people. Most definitely. A lot of this caller, good evening. Yeah, we're great. Thank God for life. Go ahead. Your name. Rich country, poor people.
It's very, very much discouraging. We will be talking, we don't wake up to stand. We will be talking until we get old. The day goes on, our day we be going one by one. But those guys, they are not prepared for this country. I think once a time they used to discuss something on the radio. Like what you were just saying, this country just need a military hand, my brother. If not, we would die here, won't go right here. We are in slavery, neighbor. Well, should these guys be so wicked at this? We give you people who will stay under the sun, under the rain, will vote for you to declare this country better. Then at the end of the day, you'll go there for your personal interest. It's very much disappointing.
Thank you.
Yeah, I listened to one of your brother station. They said that country, it was a country that they celebrated after rap.
Yeah, the Nepal.
They went to the Capitol building and they made sure that lawmakers don't through the window until that they met their request. So we got to wake up and go to see this country as a citizen. But most of our friends and brothers, the young politicians, who don't have a good intention for us, my brother. We got it tired. We have to wake up.
Thank you. To this call, rich country, poor people, keep a calls coming to 0770-2031. 0770-203125. That's the number for you to call this evening. In the rich country, poor people, your own brothers and sisters. Hello to this caller, good evening.
Yeah, this is Alison Woman calling from Marshall Highway. This is Garrison.
Thank you for joining us. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the topic today. Really, the government that we think is to come against things has been us 100 times. Some of all the only the ring, some parties around for those we are facing. At the end of the day, we do get it. We tend to Joseph Walker and Joseph Walker more Western and Unity. We are. Then imagine some of all we are taking in with all work from day to day. Before we learn for things, we got to do all the time point to get things point. That's why our family to be as good. The not easy labor. The government has said all allow the topic are the own giving. Government can come and ask the people in the community after making them to become leaders for them. In the community to ask people how they want us to work.
They can call us fish.
But the people, they refuse to go back to the people that make them out of leaders to ask them what they want us to do for your or to do for the district, leaders for the country. This is one of the things that make the government to always do it.
All right.
So that's what the brother said we need to stay. When we do stay, the government will always play from out of us.
Indeed. All right.
We are still for these people. So thank you for the topic.
Thank you, my dear brother. To this caller, good evening. Oh, sorry. Keep a calls coming 0770-203125. That's the number for you to call this evening and be part of the SKTV show. To this caller, good evening.
Yes, good evening to you.
Yeah, who's in right?
Yeah, good evening to your team of panelists. So I'm in transit. This is Susan Care.
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I follow the different talking points. So let me borrow from one of the lawmakers. He said, when we just follow what is written in the Constitution, right? The city has a responsibility of the lawmaker. In that light, they are not chief for the bureau. Not to go outside of government what is served out of this. That is, there are good laws on the book. There are good laws that can be implemented and it will benefit the ordinary Nigerian. Just for example, in our district number 2, there is a law, the act that established MDDC. That act, it was refused by Representative Shannon. Now, before they addressed it, was the president of party. You know what I said? To make MDDC a technical college. Because they fall on youth and school. So, in fact, MDDC has no participation, it comes directly from the Ministry of Youth and School. Is that not a very beautiful law? It is a wonderful law. Well, how can it benefit the ordinary woman? How can it benefit the ordinary young man if he does not see the impact the top which gave birth, if you get in the government, there will be nobody that has good policies. There are lawmakers that are proper good policies and law on the book. But how can we implement it? That's the problem we are faced with. Look at our own country drinking now. We have concession, B-market, right? The contract B-market signed with the government of Liberia. They are not to produce mineral water. They are not to produce or import their own petroleum products in the country. Not a men. But what that the operational capacity? They do all of those things.
And Hussein, let me ask you, who supply them with trucks? Because we've been hearing the misinformation that somebody big in the government supply them with trucks or so forth. You have any idea? Trucks. That means someone who maybe have the trucks, the rented trucks to maybe haul their things from another end to another end. All right. Thank you so much, Hussein. And to David King, good evening. Rich country, poor people.
Yeah, we didn't reach. I think St. Johnson wrote a book like that. I think that's the title of the book. You know, when we live in Liberia and we all want to be kind of politically driven, we don't show patriotism, even though it affects us. But the little peanuts we get from some government official, we try to defend every wrongdoing of those officials of government. You know, you are asking a very good question. We understand that government officials are providing trucks for the people. Who does that? He said he on a traffic. I mean, he in traffic. He can't hear you very well. But that's not the issue. We all know senators, Sir Joseph, Representative Thomas Fala, and other names, in the president, out of the House of Representatives, they have trucks. In the Western cluster, they got trucks. Metal, they got trucks there. They got trucks.
Well,
trucks.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, getting you. I thought you slip up the line, but go ahead.
They are spoiling our road, and President Boga said he banned them for using the truck because the bridges, tend to be damaged. It will be a disaster. Few weeks later, we saw that they went to cluster trucks on the road only because they hit the president of the high with the Ryan bill. So all these things have to stop. That's the only way things will go on good. The railway is there. The West.
All right. Thank you, David King. Let me move straight to this caller. Good evening.
Good evening, Melbourne, and good evening to the fellow panelists. This is the voice of Peter Star, and I join from Sokola District 4.
Thank you, Peter. Rich country, poor people, our leaders.
Melbourne, that's the issue we face. The issue of poor leadership and poor representation. Melbourne, I want to say thank you for your topic here, your panelists. But I'm taking it for another handle because you have discussed, variety of issues. Therefore, this our president is always honored, performing and fully representing us. This president went the last time to East African country of, I think it was, which country that I forgot, but the name will come to my mind. He went there for Energy Summit.
Japan or what? You talking about Japan?
No, it was not a Japan trip. It was from East Africa.
Oh.
That Macafoni country, I just forgot the name slightly. Yes. He went there, and then the time I was not him, he didn't use the time wisely, and then he was asked to leave the stage. Similar thing again happened yesterday. Our president was presenting, I don't know whether the speech whether they not know how long they were elected to each of them, which I think they should have known 15 minutes of each leader. But then they get document only 3 were read, and then the president mark was taken off. That's an embarrassment as a Liberian. Our president will not continue to embarrass us on the floor stage all of the time.
All right.
We're actually gonna write and someone write a 4-minute speech so that they can make our case, but our money are taken and used for this
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Liberians. Y'all keep your calls coming. Rich country, all of your leaders, all your lawmakers that you have seen today that are going up and down, they have 15% working or assigned to them. That's the fact. And they have owned everything they do that free of charge.
Yeah.
The government pay them free. Free, but say they are poorly performing. No, God be God. Hello, today's caller, good evening.
When you are discussing about the company escape law, because Beer Mountain is not a small company in Melbourne. They are not like Western Cross. They put rating all our group for who are the honor Senator Tina and Gaba Mabani there. And you understand? They put the guy who's trying to put new brain trust in the country. But just like the brother was saying, they do not have no right to manufacture water. They put that whole water company. They got charging company. They used to take charging for aqua life. But they try to produce, they got an inside to the producing their own charging. They put all their trucks. Now, when I go over the company, I will go for Melbourne.
All right. All right. Thank you, man. Let's continue to sit and watch. That's the only thing we can do. Let's continue with the politics. For all, we love the politics so dearly to our heart. So the more politics you play, the more these people they get rich. But I need to take one or two more calls, then we'll cross over to our team of panelists, at least so that we can close on to go home for the day. But again, this country is rich, but your own sons and daughters, your mothers, your uncles, your fathers, your whosoever you think about that are into leadership, they are the one that are making you to be poor. All the poor fathers that I see eating us, our leaders, no one else. Hello, to this caller, good evening. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know whether the talking point will be associated to the talking point as now. But I can elaborate on the topic now. The fire incident to the House of Senate. I don't know if they're being part of the topic.
Just go ahead quickly. Maybe you want to say something we don't know, but just go ahead. Just be safe at all.
And they were tortured, but I don't know that Faladi Kuma then carried them to the hospital, or that the governor or the people, the president send the people to the hospital. I want to know all of these things there because they want damaging our reputation of this country.
All right. All right, thank you. Maybe Mona will pass you with that. Let me see quickly the last caller. Good evening. Hello? Yes, go ahead. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Let me go straight to Brother Louis' point. Louis, he said rich country, poor people. And you have all of your leaders who you are paying huge sum of money, free of charge, and they step poorly perform.
Absolutely correct. The title is not rich country, it's rich land, poor people.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, absolutely correct. Rich land, poor people. It's unfortunate. It's regrettable. And I'd like to say hats off to you and Monk. And then Masale, you guys already hit the nail at the appropriate place today. You know, Melbourne, I like for Monk, how you doing? This is Pony Man Louis. I'd like to say something to you guys, the panelists. The fundamental problem that Liberia has, Monk, it's not the leaders. That's not the lawmaker. That's not the president. That's not the vice president. That's the people, the electorate. Melbourne, let me say this to you. The electorate wants to be deceived. They like to be deceived. You will go to a girl now. You will say,
you're right.
I can fall for you.
Oh, yes.
I will be honest and tell her, look, I will be frank with you. I make $100, I make $75, but I will try to improve this, that girl will look down. The people like to be deceived. I'm telling you, Maple, you won't believe it.
No, you're right.
Look how more just struck this. The people cried. There were noise during Joshua time. Things are difficult. Things are tough. And the people left Joshua and came to Boaka. Now the people say they want to go back. Are there no alternatives again? The people like to be deceived. The people like the pageantry. They like the fun. They like the euphoria. The political, the society are problematic. If I ask right now, if you ask Mom, I go ask Mom, I say, Mom, recommend or suggest somebody. Those things that Mom will call a few, the people are not looking at direction. Mom just told you that if you have ever inquiry was in Liberia.
I said zero, but I told you I said zero vote.
What about doing that kind of man? The people like the corrupt people, the people like the lies, the people like to be deceived. Human beings are like that. They don't like the actuality.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Brother Louis. Thank you so much. And that's just a fact. The people left for people that were bad, maybe top, people that will give them high back arrest. Well, Mom, we gotta go here. It's not easy, man. Actually.
Yeah, I think Louis just put a final nail in the coffin on the subject matter, and I think at a certain point in time, Louis will have to join this show because he gave a lot of insight, and I think he could be a help in Liberia when it comes to discussing this national issue. But that's the reality. People will follow their emotion and logic. Don't get fooled, maybe. Human being, right? It's just how our brain is wired. People hate the truth. People don't like folks that can speak the truth because the truth is not sexy. It's not fancy. It does not give you that adrenaline rush. So when you can speak the truth, when you can take on the establishment, you become the enemy because people hate that. It's like you are way ahead. And we love to be on the same page. So the guy that will come and lie, the one that will have the charisma, the one that will come and bamboozle folks, those are the ones that they fall for. They don't go by competence. They're not looking at the past, like what are the chances he can do better. Because even the electorate themselves, like he said, they are deceptive. You will embrace a politician, take his money and his resources only with the intention of voting for somebody else on election day. Okay, the man who you voted for believe that you are also a criminal directly or indirectly. And when you give him power, what make you think he's going to come and be accountable to you? No. From the inception, you love criminals, you love bad people, you love incompetent people. So when you give them power, there is no need for them to change the way how they do business. Who wants for a party to end? The how politicians see government. Maybe I said this in the show more than 1 million times. You got two, the guy that's only got the pain and the pleasure threshold. When you are in pain, you want it to end faster. When you are having pleasure, you want it to keep going on forever. In the case of politicians, they are having pleasure. Everything for them free. No performance review. You get in job for 9 years, 6 years. Their money is guaranteed. What make you think people
Thomas Fala, for example.
Yeah.
Thomas Fala in the US.
Yeah. Someone like that will want for that lifestyle to come to an end anytime soon at your expense. Even when you will suffer and die. No, for them, they are already enjoying. So, my brother, you got a long way to go. We got a long way to go. It won't change, and they don't want
wonderful. That. Thank you, brother. Yeah, thank you, Monk. Thank you. But Ali, quickly, what say you, Hannah, whether you stay there with us?
Yeah, man. I guess some people are keen to do some work yet. Well, thanks to the callers. That issue about Beer Mountain, Mayborn, you see, those lawmakers, they are not in the interest of the Kimatians because we did our work. We built our factory in Grand Kid, Makante, Kinjo. And these were some of the reasons the people they removed Barney Shemo and other people because when he was there, and the city we've been talking here, he was the lawyer for Beer Mountain. So when some of these things happen, he there to protect the people. He get up for his own people. He was destined for Beer Mountain. Mayborn, during the Ebola, we got you with the chapel used to come right behind the Strini building. If you see boxes of gold, when they running with it, carry it in the chapel. If the chapel used to come every Thursday, 6 o'clock in the morning, that whole site surrounded with armed men. When you see those guys as if to say they are on war front, the chapel will come, they take that gold in the boxes from the gold room. And my bossman once told me, say, Beer Mountain, those people, they were under mine, maybe 8-9 months, the highest 1 year. They finish get all that money. Everything they do here, that profit, because the mineral are here. Just imagine they relocated the town because the town was sitting on the mineral. And right in 1 year time, Orias Money and Beer Mountain, Orias Money, yeah, Beer Mountain left there. With the Turkish people today, the other Turkish millionaire will go in buy share. When he finish get your money, he send it to your brother. While the people in Grand Kid Makate, they are suffering. Today you get Beer Mountain, they get their own mineral water company, they get their own surgery company, they build an airspace where that I think a land people that go and think, and the people are suffering. Keep electing someone representative to change things keep getting worse. So I don't really know.
Yes, thank you, Brother Ali. We see you on tomorrow by the grace of God, no time. But again, you people just know everything. Our leaders, for me, yes, there's some of our citizens too who feel because started from, I think from 2005, election used to be free. Really used to be free. 2011, we start seeing people printing share for people. 2017, it got worse. 2023, no. It's all about transactions, money, business, so forth. Moving forward on the 2029, people will be buying votes. How much you get? Someone you write. Oh God. So when you pay money, you get elected. And by then you get that position too, you want to get that money back. So
it's a smart investment. Your money is guaranteed to come with huge return. You get free stuff, you get freebies. You fly airplane, you come to these international conferences, you sleep in fancy hotel, you eat good dishes. At the end of the day, your money is guaranteed, whether you work or not. So it's a very good investment.
I enjoy the politician to a bit, but it's just that man. I try to
anyway, guys. Thanks for the show and thanks for the time. Good day, folks.
Thank you, Mark. And to our people that in Grand came out, our leaders, I think you people have to stand up no matter of the situation. You have to stand up for the people, man. It's bad. They kind of thing about I just stated myself, it get me cool, to see the kind of thing happening. And sometimes some of the companies they will come and give you 1 million. Then they take 50 million. I don't know. What's really happening to us? But we say we're training people. We're sending people China. We're sending people H. We're sending people up and down. I don't know for stealing. At the end of the day, the people come and sit down here. People just be stealing all of our resources.
After the call King John Maybon, that just go they take it from over there. I was the material controller for that project from start to end. I was the last librarian to leave last time when Madam Sediki we did groundbreaking ceremony and turn it over to BL Martin and Orioles Mining. I installed 5 agitators at the go room, taking 5 different from Grand Cape County, but all they know that gold they taking. I was the material controller. I know the entire site up and down. But today, see the
thank you, Mandela.
There are things we can do. We bring in good news and we give it to you. We talking about podcasts and connecting people and culture from here and up out of the globe. Monitor people who waiting to sell. Blessing that time and that effort are rest. The project is giving us here the premise of them. So welcome my life with African.
I live for
Master.
Play Paris, who make you, I can't ask you if you been you. Say my journey, Tina can ask my yamu. And yes, I know money, and more I know. And you love
Sktv, the best in Liberia. Sktv, the best in Africa. Sktv, the best in Mama Liberia. Must hold by the lofa and grand bazaar.
And I didn't ya to money, and I said ya to money, and I couldn't clear ya to money, and I could do ya to money, and I didn't ya to money, and I said ya to money, and I couldn't clear ya to money, and I could do ya to money, and I don't get it now ya to money. That's the baby, and I don't get it now. Cause you walk on my ya to money.
Sktv, the best in Liberia. Sktv, the best in Africa. Sktv, the best in Mama Liberia. Must hold by the lofa and grand bazaar.
There are things we can do. We bring in good news and we give it to you. We talking about podcasts and connecting people and culture from here and up out of the globe. Monitor people who waiting to sell. The flashing that time and our efforts are rare. The broadcast we giving are real and the premise from best. The world with my life with us, yeah. From Grandpa to Nima to Lufa, from Riverside, River G to Chile, from Grand Crew, Bombay, Cape Mount, Montserrat, San to Bacalu, from Maryland, Punk to the Mikey B. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB.
Sktv,